to this channel. Today we will be talking about healing your inner child and why it's so crucial to visit your little girl, your little boy, your inner child, why it's so important that you do that work of healing and do that process of healing. I believe that number one thing, and one of the most important things that we can do when it comes to healing, when it comes to trying to resolve our past and resolve any hurt from the past, it is by visiting your inner child. And the reason being is because your inner child, your wounded self, can still be in the driver's seat of your life today, can still be taking over decisions that you are making. Everything that happens in your life could be very well driven by the wounded self, by your inner child. So therefore I wanted to bring this subject to you because I think it's so important to heal your inner child. And today we'll be talking where this stems from, where we acquire our wounds and limiting beliefs, and how then we can heal it, and also how they affect you in your life today. So why is this such a crucial part of healing journey, to visit your inner child? Well, when we were children, when we were kids, we haven't had the perception of an adult that you are today. You haven't had the understanding at the time that what you have observed and what you were told and all the conditioning that you have acquired over your lifetime as a child, you didn't have the understanding that you couldn't really compartmentalize and you couldn't really make a logical sense out of it. So a lot of the time, situations in our life do lead to us having limiting beliefs, and over your lifetime you have created this this belief around yourself, around the world, around anything in your life. The perception of this life, the people around you, perception of your value in the world, all of these things can be very distorted from our early stages of life. And because it's subconscious mind that's basically being driven, and the childhood wounds and your wounded inner child is the subconscious mind. It's the subconscious, deep rooted beliefs of, again, yourself, the world, etc. So when you were little, you didn't have the capacity, brain capacity. Your brain wasn't developed enough to, if, say, for instance, your parents decided to divorce, or your father wasn't present, or you were bullied at school, or something has happened to you when you were a little child, you would then internalize that as this is my worthiness, this must be true. You basically would internalize whatever happened to you as truth. So you wouldn't have the capacity, a brain capacity and brain development to be able to then say, well, actually this is not mine, or this is their opinion, or the fact that my parents have divorced has nothing to do with me. It's just they're adults and they didn't get on. Where as an adult we can see that. As child, we often don't have the capacity, well, we always don't have a capacity to make the logical sense out of these things. And because we don't, that creates our subconscious mind, and it creates our limiting beliefs, our deep beliefs around the world around us, around our worthiness in this lifetime. So how does your wounded inner child can affect you today? Well, first of all, it can affect you pretty much in any area of your life. It can affect you in the relationships that you choose, the friendships that you have in your life, the way you attract people into your life. If you are wounded and your inner child hasn't been visited and you haven't healed from your inner child wounding, you will be looking for the romantic partners from the place of lack and fear. In other words, you will be looking for and attracting those partners from that wounded child. So essentially, say for instance, if you have a belief that you are not good enough, and you have a belief that you are in some way broken, you will never be able to attract someone who will actually see you as valuable and lovable person, you will then attract from the place of wounds. So if, for instance, you have a wound of rejection, of abandonment, you will attract a partner who will eventually either abandon you or will keep rejecting you in that relationship. Now you might ask, so why do I keep attracting something that's something I don't want? Logically, we do not want that in our life. The reason that you attract that is because it is in your subconscious mind and your subconscious beliefs, and this is the energy that you put out into the world. You attract these people and you find them attractive to you purely because this is familiar. So if you have the belief that you are not good enough, this is your familiar baseline, if that makes sense. This is your thermostat of self-belief, of your worthiness is at that stage. So that's why if there was someone who really sees you and really kind of see that value in you and really wants to cherish you, this will almost be uncomfortable because you are not used to this, isn't familiar to you. So that's why it's so important to visit your inner child and work with that, because if we don't, we will be living from that place of lack, from that place of fear, from the place of unworthiness, from the place of I'm not good enough. And this could really be manifesting in a lot of areas of your life. This could be manifesting in the money situation, in your financial situation. If as a child your parents were struggling financially, and you have been observing over your lifetime that your parents will be struggling, or your people around you, your parents would say money don't grow on trees, you have to work hard for your money, and all those limiting beliefs. If people around you had those limiting beliefs, you will internalize that and you will take it as truth. You will then create that reality, because we create our reality from our subconscious mind. We surround ourselves with people from the level of subconscious mind. 95 to 97% of things, of the way we live and everything that happens in our life comes from the subconscious. It's the subconscious beliefs. It's what you think the world looks like. And of course, you could be wired for these things since childhood. You could be wired to think that money is hard to get, that there's not enough money in the world, that you are not worthy of having a lot of money from the childhood, just because you've observed that in your childhood, just because your parents were struggling, or just because your parents had those beliefs. So then oftentimes we will then manifest whatever we believe in. Whatever you believe in on your subconscious level, you will start manifesting into your life. So this could be your limiting beliefs around money, limiting beliefs about relationships, limiting beliefs about the job that you can have, what you can achieve in your life. The limiting beliefs of your subconscious mind stem from your childhood. And this is why I wanted to bring this subject to you, because if you want to become an awakened woman, and if you want to be in your power, and you want to live this life to the fullest of your abilities, and to the fullest of what you deserve, I want you to start healing your inner child so that you can start setting yourself free and actually live your life in alignment with who it is that you truly are, with your soul, with the purpose that you came here to this world to fulfill. Because oftentimes we have a lot of blocks and a lot of distortion when it comes to going after your dreams, when it comes to manifesting the love of your life, when it comes to being in a loving, respecting, nurturing relationship, in attracting the divine masculine man into your life. Oftentimes we simply don't feel worthy of these things, because at some point in our life we bought into the misunderstanding that we are not worthy, that we are not good enough, that we are broken, and in some way we just don't deserve it. So how you can start recognizing if you have limiting beliefs around the subject? How can you start recognizing if what's happening in your life can stem from your limiting beliefs? And the way that you start recognizing is to become observer and make this kind of almost like a list of things that you would like to change in your life. So you could basically do this exercise of the wheel of life, which basically you have all the areas of your life, your spirituality, your finances, your love life, your family life, your job, your career, all of these things. You can just put them there and then number them from 0 to 10. How satisfied are you in those areas of your life? This is number one. You can do this just by starting recognizing, where are the areas of my life that I'm lacking something? What are the areas of my life that I feel like that are not where I want them to be? And by starting to recognize these areas in your life, you can then start to pinpoint and then retract back to your childhood and see, is there a belief? So you want to then write down, what is the belief about my money situation? Do I have any limiting beliefs? What is blocking me and stopping me from progressing in my financial in my financial situation, attracting more money into my life? What is blocking me and stopping me from attracting the love of my life? What is my belief? What do I believe I deserve? Because if you start writing these things down and you start compartmentalizing it, you will soon realize that there's a lot of limiting beliefs that you carry. So it could be a belief of money don't grow on trees. It's so hard to earn money. You have to work hard to have money. Or you could have the belief of that you don't deserve money, or money is bad. You could have a belief that rich people are bad people. And when you start really seeing those limiting beliefs and asking yourself a question, does this belief support me, or does it stop me from progressing in life? Does this belief supports my journey to where I'm trying to go, or does it block me from achieving what I want? And when you can start doing that, then you can ask yourself a question and track back to the time in your life, to the time in your childhood where you had this belief from. Because if this is a money belief, if this is you thinking that you are not worthy of money, or that you think money is hard to get, oftentimes you could have a situation where you heard your parents talking about money or arguing over money, or you could have your dad working really hard, long hours, always grinding and always not really having a lot of money, but you could just see him really working hard. These things, so it could be through the observation, through witnessing, or it could be through something that you were told, something that you've heard, that we form in the very early stages of our life. We form these beliefs, and this is why, as an adult being, it's so important to visit yourself and start recognizing you as a human being. You attract things into your life in accordance to what you believe and in accordance to what you have the capacity to hold. So if you have the limiting belief about money, you won't be able to hold a lot of money. We can hear a lot of stories where someone is winning a lot of money, winning the lottery, and they win a lot of money, and studies show, and the research shows, that people who win a lot of money, they lose all of it within 3 to 5 years. The reason being is because their thermostat for how much money they can hold and their limiting beliefs around money have not changed. So they got the money, but because they're thermostat and because they think they are not worthy of money, or they have story that money just goes, or money don't stick, all of that stuff, they will start really doing everything to lose the money, or they will just spend the money like crazy, and they won't invest it, they won't actually do anything productive with the money, and within 3 to 5 years they will be broke again. And this is because they haven't worked with their money mindset. They haven't worked with their limiting belief around money, and their inner child hasn't been healed from that, because oftentimes these things do stem from very early childhood. So feeling of unworthiness is another thing that it's very deeply rooted in attracting anything good into your life. And when I say attracting, I'm talking about, yes, law of attraction, yes, law of resonance, but I'm also talking about we often sabotage things that could be coming into our life, that could enhance our life, but we sabotage them because we just simply don't feel worthy of them. So visiting your inner child is so important to start healing, because with inner child work, you basically go into the root cause of the problem. You don't go into the superficial surface level where you go into like visualization. When I've been doing like visualization, I've tried all of it. I've tried visualizing things, I've tried affirmations, I've tried like journaling and writing out my future vision, and all of these things are helpful and they are needed as well. But I believe that the main reason that we really block ourselves from attracting anything into our life is because we have limiting beliefs, and our subconscious mind doesn't comprehend that. Like our subconscious mind and the energetically, or even in our subconscious mind, we don't have the capacity to hold what we actually want. So if you feel that you are unworthy and you feel very small in the world, it's very difficult, and it will be very difficult for you to progress in life, to be someone who's achieved great success, or someone who will be able to walk on stages and talk on stages, or someone who will be able to even allow themselves to write a book or do something magnificent that your soul actually really wants to do. But your subconscious mind and the fear of not enoughness will stop you and block you along the way. So I know that manifestation is only possible if we have the capacity to hold whatever we want to attract into our life. And I believe that's and the working with your inner child does heal those parts of you. Working with your inner child starts to heal your subconscious mind, and therefore you start changing the identity, and then therefore you start changing your limiting beliefs to the beliefs that serve you. So carrying the belief that you are in some way broken and that you are not enough, and this is why working with your inner child is so important, because so many of us hold that belief that we are not good enough. And honestly, trust me when I say this, it could have been one situation in your life. It could have been one situation that had an emotional charge on you, and in your head, in your subconscious mind, that was basically programmed into your head. It could have been anything. It could have been like when I was 7, I overheard my mom talking to my teacher, and my teacher was saying that I'm not that I'm scattered, and that I'm struggling with learning and something else. No, they said she's very smart, but she's just so scattered that I don't think she will ever achieve anything. And that simple sentence stuck with me for majority of my life. So then I had to go into healing my inner child to then let her know that yes, she is smart enough, she is good enough, and she is lovable enough. And I had to go and heal that, because if I didn't, then I would still have that limiting belief very deeply rooted in me. And of course, if you believe that you are stupid, if you have this belief that you are stupid and you're not intelligent enough, this will block you from so many things in life. This will block you from, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I wouldn't go and want to help people. I wouldn't live my purpose. I wouldn't be able to do these things, because I would feel unworthy. I would feel like, who am I to talk to these people? Like, who am I to put a YouTube channel on? Who am I to have my own podcast? I'm no one, so how can I possibly do this? But when we start working with inner child, you empower yourself, you start to believe in yourself, and you are your best cheerleader. And I believe that the main person that should be cheerleading you in your life, the main person that should be always yourself. And when we can be so empowered within ourselves, there's no one that we need and no one that can take that away from us. It's so sustainable, because you're going to have that for life. You're going to be your own best friend for the rest of your life. And working with your inner child, I think, is one of the most important things that we will have to do when it comes to healing, when it comes to progressing in life, when it comes to evolving in your life. I believe that you can't really heal unless you visit your inner child. So how to start healing your inner child? Because it's all well and good that we have the awareness, and of course awareness is number one thing that makes any change of any habit, any changes in your life that you want to manifest. You need to become aware of the fact that there is some distortion, that there's something that you are unhappy with. And this is why I said at the beginning of this video, I said to start writing it down, start recognizing which areas of your life you would like to improve. So how to start healing your inner child? Your inner child healing starts with a few things, and there's a few ways that you can do this. You can do all of them, you can just pick one of them. So first of all, healing your inner child, meditation. And I take my clients through, when I'm coaching my clients, I do take them through this healing meditation, because it's a profound shift. And I've seen transformations within that one meditation, and I will be leading this meditation tonight, just so you can see and you can feel and you can sit with me and you can start the journey of healing your inner child. So I will be leading the meditation tonight on the end of this video. Journaling is another way to start healing your inner child, and writing a letter to your younger self. So it is so important to start connecting energetically to your inner child. If you know much about quantum physics, you will know that time doesn't exist in quantum. In 5D, time does not exist. And there's all the realities, your past, your present moment, and your future exists in this moment, like they exist at the same time. So when you can start tuning in and tapping into your past inner child, you will start healing yourself today, and you will start bringing that energy and healing the energy or your timeline through doing this exercise work. So journaling is so amazing, because you can basically just write a letter to yourself. You can write a letter to the younger version of yourself and explaining and saying to her like how worthy and lovable she is, how what happened to her was it wasn't her fault, how if you were traumatized in childhood, going back to your inner child is crucial for you to start healing yourself energetically today. And the last thing that you can do, that I have done, is talking to her on a daily basis. So I often talk to myself, I often talk to my little girl, because if I find and I recognize, and this takes awareness, so to be able to recognize where your inner child needs healing on a daily basis is to be very tuned in and tapped into your own intuition, very tuned in and tapped into your own body, somatically tapped in and really being present in your body, in the experience of this lifetime. So I think when we can start recognizing what are my thoughts, what are my feelings, and you can really start tuning in and tapping in to every day, hour by hour, minute by minute of your day, you can be aware of what is happening in your brain. What are your reactions to different situations? What are your reactions to people? What are your reactions to your loving partner? How are you as a parent, and you can start almost like just taking yourself out of yourself and become the observer of how you go about your life, how you go about your day. And by doing that, you can then start picking and recognizing that there is a wounded self that's taking part in this situation in life, in this moment in time. And when you can start tapping in and being really aware of what's happening and how you go about your life, and becoming more and more conscious of what's happening and how you react to the world, how you react to your loved ones, to everyone surrounding you, you can then start recognize that some of these behaviors might be to do with your inner child. And oftentimes when I recognize that, when I feel sad, when I feel unease, when I feel anxious, I ask myself a question like, is there a part of me from my childhood that wasn't safe? Is there a part of me from my childhood, is little Marta, does she need loving right now? Because when I got rejected by a man and he kind of just stopped talking to me, I had to do this work of recognizing that that's nothing to do with me. And I had to remind myself, because of course as a human being we straight away go into blaming and shaming ourselves and internalizing the situation. This is the first thing that we often do. We will personalize it almost, and we will try to take responsibility for someone else's actions. But actually I had to stop myself, because my little girl inside of me, she was like, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, he's abandoned me, and there was a feeling of this abandonment, and there was the feeling of rejection. And I had to remind myself that this feels familiar, that my father left me because he died. And as a 17-year-old girl, I still was very undeveloped. And yes, I understand it. I understood it then, what happened. But there was a part of me who was really hurt and was missing him. And there was this little girl inside of me then, or younger version of me, that really missed him. And I felt like he left me, he abandoned me. And so I had to, in this situation with this man, I had to really just be with myself, and I had to journal about it, and I had to really talk to myself, to my little girl, and say, you are lovable, and remind her that you are worthy of so much love, and you are worthy of everything. And the fact that he is rejecting you, or he took himself away, whatever, this is his actions, and it's probably his struggles that he's dealing with. It's nothing to do with you, because I have done nothing wrong. So talking to yourself in that way, talking to your inner child, visiting her, it's so crucial on this journey of healing. And again, it's so worth it. The reason that you would want to do it, because I sometimes sense, and what's coming over me right now, that some of you might sit there and think, that sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like I'm going to have to, I'm busy already. How can I find time to journal? How can I find time to visit my inner child? Well, let me tell you now that the reason that I did, the sheer fact that I did this work is who I am today. The sheer fact that I have been doing the healing is that I can be so joyful and so fulfilled and so happy. Now, I think every human being on the planet right now, this is what they're yearning for. They're yearning for to have the sense of happiness and fulfillment and peace. And I think this is where it comes from. It comes from you healing you. It comes from you doing the work of that healing. And if you want to step into your awakened self, awakened soul, if you want to live your purpose and live this lifetime to the fullest of your abilities and to the fullest of your potential, and really enjoy this journey that you are on, the way to do it is to start healing and remembering and creating this remembrance of who it is that you truly are. And the only way to do that is to heal your inner child, because your inner child is in the driver's seat. Oftentimes the inner child, until she is unsettled, until she's wounded, she will be in the driver's seat of your life. And if you can start healing her, and you can start putting her at ease, and she's safe, she's lovable, she's happy, she can almost imagine she's there and she's playing in the park and she's having a great time, but she's happy and safe and she's content. when she is in that state, she's no longer interrupting your life. She will always be the part of you, but she no longer is in the driver's seat. She then steps away and she is in the passenger seat, and you as your adult self can start taking responsibility of your life.